Hello, hello, we are back with more Powerwash Cleaner, and I will be playing some nice tunes for y'all while I do this. Gonna scoot, whoops, I'm going to grab the Furby. We're gonna scoot ourselves over to this side while I do that. Alright, let's clean the cruise ship. Turn on our music. Oh, hiya, Power Washer. Yeah, we had a bit of to-doing on deck. Can't go into the specifics, as it'll probably end up in the courts this one, but it was a bit of a mood breaker. Let's just say... Let's just say next time we'll make sure we shake off the seabirds before leaving harbor and fully vet the entertainment. We've cleaned the deck of what little food the birds left, so you should get a nice clean run at it. Woof! They fucked that shit up. Okay. Hey, great news! Captain says he's checked the contracts and we're in the clear.
We are living in a computer-programmed reality, and the only clue we have to it is when some variable is changed, some alteration in our reality occurs. We would have the overwhelming impression.
Thank Poseidon for maritime law, eh? Anyway, what that means is that I can now tell you exactly what happened here.
Hearing the same words, saying the same words, and I will even say this. Such an impression is a clue that at some past time point, a variable was changed, reprogrammed as it were, and an alternative world branched off.
merciful here. Mercy is for the weak. Here, on the street, in competition, a man confronts you, he's the enemy. An enemy deserves no mercy. Finish him!
So, we've been having a tough time of it, truth be told. We hired a magician called the Great Ted Cheese, but then he disappeared. Literally, that's no joke. We still haven't found him. He was there opening night, did some balloon magic for the kids that went down like a lead one, and we haven't seen him since. He may have jumped ship. Man, I'm excited for October. Supposedly, Uzumaki is finally going to be coming out, which I know a lot of people have been excited for, but they needed to have it cook for another year before it was done, which, God, I hope they manage to capture all of the amazing line work that goes into Junji Ito's pieces, because that was something that was sorely missing from the Junji Ito anime collection, which was, like, it doesn't really capture jack shit about it unless you've already read the manga and, like, kind of can fill in the blanks of what they're going for. You can definitely tell it's missing a lot of the same pull and ambiance and pacing, and whoever handled it is not used to handling slow pull dredging horror. I'm gonna let some other folks know that I am streaming. Link. And there we go. Alright, back in.
System failure.
Yeah, I've actually been scrounging around looking for decent horror movies lately. I found one or two that I would give a strong 7, but nothing that beats that mark. Stop motion is up there. It very much has the stuff I'm looking for, but I feel like it leans a bit too much into the grotesque angle, which I don't really love. Like, don't get me wrong, grotesque can be used to foster certain symbology and stuff like that, but I think less is always more. It's one of those things that I am very passionate about. I feel like such a snob when my friends are like, "Ooh, hey, check out this B horror movie." And it's like, unless I'm watching it with other people, I'm not super interested because there's no one to really riff it to, and I don't do well by myself. Just kind of, I don't really get amusement from watching things by myself, watching that sort of stuff. Like, after a point, I even had to kind of drop Twin Peaks because all of, like, the little isms throughout it got kind of dull. Like, oh, someone's wandering into frame by accident, and they're like, oh shoot, I'm in the frame. Or we didn't calibrate stuff properly, and so now all of a sudden you can pick up the ambient hum of the fluorescent lighting in the scene. Or the music is weirdly out of tone with whatever is going on, and they use it for everything. And oh, thank you for the follow. Hi, Johnny Jones. How are you doing, friendo? I am just catching up with some Powerwash. Got filthed all up to shit hell here. Ooh, cleaning it up. I forgot to follow last time. I'm good. Going to sleep pretty soon. Well, if you want, I can switch to some nice lo-fi hip-hop. If that'll put you to sleep. Ha 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 ha. Because this game is pretty chill. Nothing exciting gonna pop out. I might drone on about one thing or another into the void. Like how I'm kind of cautious to check out some new Silent Hill stuff because I don't know if it's gonna be absolute shit and it's gonna be like overwritten by it's gonna be overwritten by my predetermined, like, kind of like, oh, okay, like this is usually the kind of stuff that I like. Hold on, I'm trying to find house. Is that the name of it? No. Where is it? There it is. Slam House. They do some nice stuff. After, no. Let's see. DMC. Free lo-fi. There we go. Yeah. Yeah, I've played 7DD9 probably like a billion times on my stream, so it's no sweat. I don't think I've actually done the lo-fi from Slam House before. I keep putting them down as Stomp House for whatever reason. I need to fix that in my VODs. Because I'm crediting the wrong person. But yeah. I'm going to up that. There we go. But yeah, I've been really apprehensive after I heard like, oh, the Silent Hill 2 thing dropped and a bunch of people are playing it, and I'm just kind of like, oh god, I don't know if I want to look, because Konami has been kind of infamous in the last decade or so about mismanaging their properties to a ludicrous extreme. I think in part it's because Konami is not a video game company anymore. Konami is like, it's more of a pachinko, pinball, it's like more of an arcade company than it is a video game company. The fact that Silent Hill ever came out of it and was really good was a total fluke. Because the only reason it was good was Team Silent, and trying to recreate that with someone like Bloober Team, who have only really done indie titles like Layers of Fear, which I thought was pretty mid. Like, oh, okay, you have a bunch of jump scares, and some of this is creative, but you really drop the ball on the ending. Like, I get it, everyone's trying to recreate Lightning in a Bottle. Bloober Team trying to recreate what was Amnesia, and the popularity of that like 10 years later with Layers of Fear. That's what it felt like to me anyway. Don't get me wrong, the animation and the art for that was really good and I appreciated it, but I feel like it didn't really stick the landing of, hey, we want this to be like this really deep, dreading horror, and we want what he actually sees on like the canvas to be like there's so much build-up about what is on the canvas, like what the true form of the figure is, that's taking place as you go through like each chapter of the house. that by the end you're expecting like, oh god, what like kind of horrific thing is going to be depicted, and then it's just like, oh, it's just a lady's face. Okay. It feels like such a rip-off. It doesn't feel like there is, like, that's not scary. People are not scary. Something unknown, something like incomprehensible, that is scary. Or fuck, even go the level of like, maybe the reason it has so many layers is because the thing you depicted has so many layers. Like the depiction of the god in, god, what was the name of that movie? It was a Japanese movie about like a cursed videotape, and I don't think it was Ritual. No, that was the one with the old lady.
I don't understand. What's making the pilot so late?
Darn it, what was it? No, wait, it was Ritual, I think. The Ritual. The one I'm thinking about is called The Relic. There's so many the movies with similar sounding titles.
He's the best there is.
Where like the end scene is the creepiest part in it, at least in my own opinion, where she reveals like, hey, what is this god that essentially absorbs all of the curses in the world? It's like a god of curses. What does their face look like? Because supposedly beholding it will just kill you instantly, and anyone that sees it also gets cursed. And just the face is something that does not make sense in a spatial understanding, which go with that. Go with something like that where it doesn't look like something that is physically possible in our dimension. Make something that has like follow me eyes. Make something with like, it doesn't seem like it's ever still. Make something that's like a doomsday prediction or something of the future to come. That is innovative. While A Machine for Pigs was kind of really and on the nose with its execution, its message was still very terrifying. It was someone seeing the future and seeing how horrible and bleak World War I was. They would rather kill their own children than behold what was to befall their country and their kin while everything was being destroyed. They would rather use some kind of doomsday machine to prevent all of this from happening. Also, the musical score is amazing. But I can't play because DMCA shit and everybody gotta get their money. Which, I don't fault anyone for wanting to get their bag, but give me an option. Give me an option to play it. I'll pay you money. I would say Spotify, but after seeing how they treat artists, I kind of don't want to give them money. I wish there was like an alternate to Spotify. Some sort of radio system where it's just like, hey, I like these groups of artists. Play their music, please. In whatever order, and then like move on to different music. I don't know. But yeah, my point in general was, I have not been able to find a lot of good horror content lately. And everything that I do find, it's the same of like, oh, everything is super railroady, or a lot of the interpretations of everything are very mid and kind of boring, or it's something that's been done a million times over. The most unique one I think I saw was stop motion, which I'd highly recommend. If you can't handle a lot of gore, I'm going to say that you opt out, because there's a lot of grotesquerie. Oh, pause that. So that meant that entertainment passengers had rested on our resident theater ensemble, heads, shoulders, knees, and toes. Well, for starters, they weren't used to performing for grown-ups. I'm guessing they also got seasick. And by day 5, they were all out of pre-prepared material anyway, and became an ill-received improv collective. On day 6, they quickly pivoted, and well, they go Gallagher with the watermelons and stuff, or people started throwing entrees at them.
Maybe it's not marriage. Maybe it's love. Well, whatever it is, pray that it's not against you. I've got a feeling love don't have to do the way you say it is. Well, gotta be that way with me. Because I ain't gonna enough one man. Not that I reckon I'm never gonna feel no other kind.
Well, I guess we won't see any more of that for a bit. So stop motion is about a woman and her daughter who are both very into stop motion creations. The mother is like a prodigy who's won many awards for her stop motion films, but over the years of all of her work, she has gained horrible, terrible arthritis in her hands and fingers. So the only one left to help her with her final magnum opus is her daughter, who she gives commands of like moving a couple of centimeters, up, down, pivoting heads, shoulders, motioning her creations as she tells her. And this has been ongoing for quite a few years, supposedly. Well, during one of the posing sessions, when the daughter is feeling like, hey, I don't have enough of my own agency, and my mother doesn't really acknowledge me as an artist in my own way, she just thinks I'm her assistant and a puppet that's meant to move according to her directions. Like these armatures, I spend hours and hours a day moving. She, the mom and her have a bit of a falling out. Like, the mom's arthritis is so bad, she can't even, like, cut things with, like, a knife and a fork. She can barely hold it. She can barely hold a utensil in her hand because her fingers are so curled in with arthritis and pain. So, with all of the mounting stress from that and just age, her mom has a stroke, and this causes something in the daughter to snap. Not only does she now have this newfound freedom, there's like this massive guilt to both succeed in her mother's place, to be independent after having her mother like essentially tell her what to do in most, if not all, regards of her life. And she is having to move in with her boyfriend for the first time. So a lot of stress being piled on at once on the main character is very evident. And as she's struggling to overcome the art block and like, oh, do I try and finish my mother's film and make it my own in her place as like a dedication, or do I say fuck it, throw it away and make my own thing? A random little girl comes into her life. Well, this little girl starts making up like, hey, you should do this, you should do that, you should, and she starts making up these little stories saying like, oh, well, if I were making a story, I would make it about this or that, and I would make it with this thing. And so the first thing, because she's doing hand exercises to keep herself limber, because stop motion requires a lot of movement, she's bawling and needing some mortician's wax. The little girl says, hey, you should make a figure out of mortician's wax for your next project, instead of making it with one of the felt creations that you have. And she starts telling this story, and every time that she tells a part of the story, she says, well, if you want me to tell the next part of the story, you need to make this out of that. And it starts off small with like the ball of mortician's wax, and then moving into, hey, you should use like meat to make your horror monster for your short. And then you should use, you should skin and use the bones of this random dead fox I found. And then, hey, you should use flesh from something. And I think it's meant to be symbolic of her processing her mom's death and her fear of her mom no longer being around to command her, and her fear of her independence almost. And there's a lot of fear of her own sexuality also present in a lot of parts as well, where she is fascinated by the grotesque and a lot of the awfuler parts, fondling a random man's head wound while she's at a party and he gets slashed by a beer bottle. And they're both so drunk and high that she kind of just doesn't really register it. And it all accumulates in the monster from the story actually like ending her and killing her and stuff. So it was actually a pretty decent watch. I'd give that one a strong, like a 7.5, 7.8 on the scale out of 10. But I think it dips way too often into the grotesque in reasons that just kind of feels like a bit much. And not in the way of like, oh, it's like meant to be like really artistic and some kind of metaphor for like sexuality or something. It just kind of feels like it comes out of left field sometimes, with like how much it goes into like, oh, well, you must make these out of flesh and stuff. It just feels like it's meant to be very edgy, or yeah, I don't know. But so that was one. The other one, if you're into stuff like Cube, you might dig this one. It's called The Abandoned. It is about a soldier who ends up in a random, like in a completely bare room with excuse me, no windows or doors, in or out, and he notices, like, the only thing he notices is random writing that says, "Abandon hope, all ye who enter here." And he starts to notice more and more writing as time goes on, and the only person he's able to contact for the whole time is a woman who dials in to his sat phone. Because he is a soldier that has been plucked out of the Iraq War. And we find out that it's not the one you're thinking of. Like, partway through. So, yeah, lots of interesting little moments with that. A moment with like, oh, well, we have to solve this equation or we're gonna die. It feels very much in line of like, these people were definitely really big fans of Cube and wanted to try something very different with the formula. It feels like a spiritual successor to that franchise beyond, well, anything after the second Cube movie, because the other ones were kind of awful and very pandering, if I'm gonna be honest. But yeah, that was, oops, sorry, bumped the mic. That was probably one of my favorite ones that's come out as of recent. I'd give it a strong, like a 7.8. Even though, because it's very clear it's meant to be one of those sort of bottle episode or bottle movie sort of horror things where there's not a lot of setting going on. The setting is not as much of a prominent character, or there's not a lot of dressing done to it. But that's fine because it enhances a lot of character flaws, overcoming personal stuff, and dialogue, and I like those really strong interpersonal stories that aren't just about people circling their same behaviors over and over and over again, because I find that just so incredibly boring. It's like, while it may be realistic, it makes for a really shitty narrative to have a character that doesn't understand what growth is. Or isn't able to process growth. Like, if you have someone who is able to process growth and is like trying but also failing, and maybe has like a moment of like, alright, well, I'm unable to grow, and maybe I should just accept the fact that I'm a bad person. That is still a moment of growth. That is still a moment of change. Maybe not for the better. Maybe it's a withering of character, but it's still different. And that can be interesting. I mean, that was super popular with Breaking Bad, The Sopranos, etc. That have almost become like a meme nowadays because of how much glorified toxic masculinity is featured in those shows, and so much moral degeneracy from our anti-heroes. That instead of helping someone they obviously see suffering, they just double down on being a bastard.
Your father's far from being a well-man's character.
I love Cube, would definitely check
Seeing
that
you for the
out.
last time may be something which shocks
Yay! A recommendation!
I think I understand.
Yeah.
you.
I
Looking forward to your arrival with great ease.
would heavily recommend it. It's available on some high sea sites. Yes. Cough, cough, cough. If you don't mind watching that stream.
Come with me.
I also love Cube. The original one, the second one I think is super underrated. It's definitely way weirder and edgier than the first one.
Come with me.
Not in like a bad way, just very different. And it's very clear they had just discovered, hey, we can do CGI now. Woo! It's like, oh, okay. Ones that are kind of similar to that would also be Circle and The Platform, because they have a similar vibe to that. Less of the escape the puzzle room and Samsara, Rusty Lake kind of vibes from the Cube series on Steam. I also highly recommend those. The story in those is, I would say, bordering on horror, but not really exactly horror. It's surrealist. It's almost kind of surrealist thriller. Have you seen The Platform? It was also in the same area in my mind. Yeah, I have. I've seen The Platform. I've seen all of the ones that I recommended. I try not to recommend movies that I have not seen, because it's like, I don't want to recommend a movie that might be bad or is not in the same category as that. The Circle was pretty good. Ending was kind of alright. It had a very it wasn't exactly like the Cube, but it had some of the same like kind of consequence things going on. It was more like your average game of Among Us minus all of the memes. Like if Among Us was serious. Show Alice in Borderland, which takes it more to a Squid Game feel. Huh. I have seen that one, but I have been, because I am such an ADHD kid, I don't watch as many as Jesus Christ, am I having a stroke? I don't watch as many subtitled shows because I frequently run into the issue of like, oh god, it's subtitled. I really want to do something else while I'm watching this. Because I always do that with shows that I'm watching, and I'm still able to glean everything from it. It's just, yeah. That's why I am the nominated note taker or self-nominated note taker in our D&D group, because I'm ADHD as shit and it helps me focus to have something that I actually need to do while we're playing. While y'all are wonderful people and it's super fun playing, my brain will just stop working frequently and will just like, all of this talking is such nice white noise. And then I relax because I'm surrounded by friends, and then I'm not paying attention, and I'll come back and like, okay, so this person just spilled like 5 hours of backstory, and I'm like, shit! I didn't take a single note. No! It's the worst. I was so crushingly tired after doing work the last 2-3 weeks. I don't know if it's established well enough, but the note taking is so appreciated. Thank you. Aww! Well, I appreciate you role playing. Your character is a very sweet good boy. And I appreciate your role playing. Even though sometimes it's hard to get a word in edgewise, I'm sure, between the NPCs and everyone talking when it's a large group. I was super appreciative. There was a bit of a narrative drop early on about your backstory. I'm trying to slowly eke out some of Casper's with the note-taking and some of the stuff. I don't know how well versed you are on Faerun and all of like the general lore and stuff, because I dropped some very not so subtle hints about where he dreams he is every night when he sleeps, and that's the reason why he has trouble sleeping and has to roll a d20 every time he does a long rest. Did notice a tiny mistake and wrote your backstory. The words were in between Goliaths and not against humans. Oh, okay, so it was infighting. Alright, I'll be sure to notate that. Give me 1 second. Between Goliaths, not humans. Fix this. Okay. Leaving that there. Thank you. Yeah, if I ever have an inconsistency like that, let me know. Sometimes I will just kind of like try and bullshit away, like, oh, Zariel was with us for the whole time. Like, he just disappeared in the mist. I tried to do that at one point, but then it's just kind of like, no, we just found this guy. Okay. I don't know. Mushroom. yeah, I don't know how much you know about Faerun and the various planes lore. I did drop a pretty significant hint of where he dreams he is every night. Which, if you know anything about Hexblades, was already pretty obvious. So yeah. I guess it would have to be up to each individual person whether or not they have canonically read Casper's notes on a long rest. It's like, ah yes, bedtime story about my adventures. I'm not too knowledgeable of the real lore as most campaigns I've been or homebrew. I was thinking of adding more lore about God's beliefs in Goliath myths and such. Yeah, that's cool. It's not exactly going to be a spoiler to tell you because I dropped so many hints if you are curious. It's the Shadow Realm. That's it.
While we fight, I'll improvise a ballad for you.
That's
and
all.
design the refrain.
And he's literally heading to meet with his patron.
Differences, but I am disposed to forget them.
I've made it kind of glaringly neon obvious that he is a goth kid. Not for matter of like, oh, he's dark and brooding and secretly Batman. No, I'm fucking why I don't like those characters. It's more along the lines of, yeah, no, he is like this because he saw something really awful happen to a person, and he's seen even more awful shit. Don't have PTSD in they don't have PTSD treatment in medieval times. Get out of here. Fucking shoot that ball. Yeet. Hope there's not going to be an achievement like, oh, clean the unicorn first. Might as well check. Hold on. Achievements. Let's see. Nope. Okay, cool. I was about to worry. Because I try and get as many of the achievements as I'm able to. I can't do those timed ones for the life of me. Gotta clean the deck chairs. I don't know if I've emphasized this enough, but this is definitely the best campaign I've ever been on. Aw, yay! I'm not gonna lie, but I think Curse of Strahd is probably one of the best modules next to, obviously Baby's first module, Lost Minds of Phandalin, which is usually reserved for, like, all the beginner players and stuff. This one, oh my god. The only one I am slightly worried about is, the only thing I'm slightly worried about is, that Rev and Genre don't get enough, like, that I'm too verbose and I step in too often and they don't get enough talkie time. I always get super self-conscious about that. I wish I knew a way to, like, hey, I will make all of you, like, I'll teach all of you how to use VTube Studio so we can use, like, dumb little avatars and talk. An emote. I actually am doing more Cursive Straw tonight with a different group. And we're like on the final thing, but ours is different, apparently, from what you just told me. It's a different version. So I'm going to be going through Dramatic Irony Blue Balls the entire time I am with y'all. Yeah. I'm trying to play like, okay, I am the cop in the group. And like, okay, you two are like the two good boy muscle. And then we have our thief who's constantly sweating about doing crime in front of all of these cops, all of these moral authorities. And then we have Rev, who is like the healer that has to be poked to heal people. And I'm not trying to riff on him. I think he's like half asleep during the campaign though. Because that boy sounds so busted and tired every time we play. And that's saying something coming from my ass. Yeah, let's see. What are the other ones I've done? The most recent one that we had to end because, well, Yeet had started doing school and one of our players was quite the knob. He was one of those, oh, I'm secretly evil. And, like, his whole thing was just being a chaos gremlin whenever he was bored. And, like, not role-playing at all or interacting with the story and pretty much just going off on his own thing. Even the backstory that Yeet made strong points to include for his warlock was just kind of like he didn't interact with it. He just stone-faced and looked grumpy through the entire thing. And like, okay, alright. You don't exactly want to play this. You're just kind of bored and not paying attention to anything. Neat. Let's see, what else? I've done Spell Plague with Yeet doing that is like a full homebrew, which I'm just like, boy, you're doing a D&D homebrew while studying for finals in college. Are you insane? I did... God, I think I've done Minds of Phandelver like 3 or 4 times. With different groups. Once with Sting as a player, once with Sting as a DM. once with me sorta kinda running it as a DM, but then like just kind of ripping it away from some of the original setting and kind of playing around as a DM, trying to do a homebrew. Because I didn't really like a lot of the setting and thought it was kind of boring. I was just like, I'm gonna make my own setting with blackjack and hookers. I see I've only done campaigns through Discord IFGs and now DMing Fan Delver to my family. Aw, that's cool. Yeah, I hope they have fun. Because that campaign is really friendly to a lot of beginners. I've also sort of kind of been through it as a listener. It's the first one I was ever exposed to because I used to listen to The Adventure Zone, but that was probably like 5 years ago. Supposedly they started like a new thing, like a new campaign with it, but yeah, I haven't tuned back in since then. After they finished the Bureau of Balance arc. I'd highly recommend it if you like kind of a casual combat thing where it's more emphasis on comedy and roleplay than actual serious like gameplay. Occasionally it does have serious story moments and stuff like that. Overall it's very fun. There's actually a comic that has been slowly coming out about it that might actually make it a better read. It's 3 brothers and their dad doing a D&D game that slowly becomes homebrew after like the first section of the campaign. And they try out different little things. Like they have one whole section that is kind of a Groundhog Day deal. But yeah, it's a pretty fun one. Can't do tabletop podcasts, it feels like too big of an investment. The only one I've completed is the Smosh one. Ah, is that the one with... No, I don't think that's the one with Brendan. I can't remember his last name for the life of me. But yeah, yeah, there's 69 episodes of the Adventure Zone, and that was one of the ones that it feels like it kicked off quite a lot of them. Just rapid fire. It came before Critical Role, it came before a lot of the ones that are out there. Not gonna say like, oh, it's for everyone and everyone should listen to it forever, because I know podcasts aren't for everyone, and sometimes there's like a visual aspect that's needed. The other one I've listened to like on and off has been shoot, what's the name of it? Hold on, I have it in No Lee Mulligan. I was able to complete it because it was like 13 episodes and a huge Smosh fan. Yeah, Brendan Lee Mulligan is the one. Okay, yeah. Let's see, what is the one? Once Upon a Witchlight. Oh god, the just the shorts from that one are fucking hilarious. Because it's very much a group of good friends constantly trying to make each other and the DM laugh, and they do a very good job of it. And the fact that because it's a dark carnival taking place in the Feywild, they have like a random like Feywild curse table that they have to roll on constantly whenever the DM uses some of her like bits that she gets from people watching their live Twitch stream of it or stuff like that. It's, oh god, I fucking love watching it sometimes. It's really funny and silly. Hold on, I will actually post a quick clip from that. I think I have one on my Discord from a friend of mine. I constantly post the animated clips too. Where I'm trying to find a good one. Okay, there we go. Ta-da! Boop. Enjoy your link. Anyone else watching the stream, feel free. This is not a paid advertisement for Legends of Adventurous. Just these people fucking have made me almost pee laughing because they're such goobers and goofballs. Specifically, Mikey and Derek. They are the biggest of the goofball goobers. Their DM Angela is also a very good sport for all of these shenanigans. Mary Sills. When they saw that buffet was being rationed, the all-inclusive passengers demanded to speak to the captain. The captain is far a better mariner than he is a diplomat, and declared their tickets non-refundable. That's when the chips went flying. And when the chips went flying is when the seabirds descended. En masse. That is a lot of bird poopy. Oh, just missed it. Darn.
secretary.
Your former secretary.
Oh, I didn't know you were in the middle of dictation.
I'm going far, far away from you, and I'm going to write a book about you. I'm going to call it The Heel and His Victim.
That's a very horrible title.
It'll do.
That fat goat who cannot hold his belly in his arms still dreams of being sweetly dangerous among the women. I may grow tender walking alone in the blue cool of evening through some garden fresh with flowers after the benediction of the rain.
So with this one, I'm actually trying to catch up to supposedly a DLC for Shrek is going to be released for this game soonish. So I will definitely have some more power washing to do when that comes out. Hopefully 2 days worth at least. Okay, have a good sleep, Jonathan. Ugh. That is amazing. I can't believe you got everything. I haven't smudged a piece of meringue behind the sun to test you, and that's gone. I think we're gonna just let the passengers entertain themselves for the remainder. Having said that, great Ted Cheese has showed up. He said his confidence had taken a hit and he wanted to prove to himself that he still had it by escaping from the emergency pantry. He was stuck in there for 10 days. To be honest, he could still be down there if not for one of the all-inclusive passengers sneaking down for a creme brulee. Anyway, thanks again. New Buckingham files! Let's go! Whoops. this one's a bit of a chonker. Oh, the work I have had lately has been so astronomical. And I swear to God, if I look at one more middle-aged baseball, sports, basketball, football player, I'm gonna throw up violently. Parapuziosa. How you doing, wishy-washers? I don't know what you saw on the way over here, but the entire Crab Bay area has been hit by a freak wave. That obviously includes our Marine Life Conservation Center. Luckily, we were pre-warned by our friends at Caldera University's seismology department that something was happening. So we managed to get an evacuation program going on all the open-air tanks in the aquarium. We'll be pleased to know that none of the animals were harmed. In fact, we're up 2 welcome starfish. Nevertheless, our swell friend made quite an impression, and to be on the safe side, we need to sanitize the place before we reintroduce the animals and open up again. Thank you, Dr. Faziosa. Woo! Let's start with this. So strange seeing the center like this. It's not normally so full of life. In fact, you're one of the only people that see it like this in decades. Over that time, it had incredibly checkered past. Silent Ted, Jessica Crabbit, Krabby McCrabface. to a sea cucumber. Oh, it's raining. Huh. Go on, Jasper. Go on. He likes, go on, Goober. Go. 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 He likes hiding under my desk when he's freaked out. Hopefully we don't hear a lot of barking. That's gonna put a dent in the stream. Turn around. Turn around. What are you doing? Jasper, what are you doing? Go. What a goof. He does not know what he wants. Go. Go. Oh. There you go. There you go, bud. Poor scaredy dog. Oh. He's off again. Don't want to leave this area all scuffed.
You see her standing there across the dance floor.
plastic starfish. I don't think a regular starfish would appreciate being power washed. Crab Bay Marine Life Conservation Center was opened in 1904 by local benefactor Phil Info. Legend has it that it was inspired by his tearful daughter, who found a five-legged crab on the beach and demanded something be done. Whatever the real reason, Phil's money kept the place going for the first 20 years or so. Seahorse! Clownfish! Pisces would love coming here. Seahorses. We got a little house. There's Clam. I'm trying to remember what the name of those yellow ones are. It's not a yellow tang, is it? No, I think they're called trumpet fish, maybe. Ooh, those orange ones are pretty. They look like little tulips. Wonder if those fish's bodies are arrow-shaped to cut down on drag in water? Or to be able to handle currents better or something. These tanks look like they lack enrichment. Oh! I see you, gnome. But I also realize it's hard to model grass and air and stringy things in 3D. shut my whore mouth. Little trumpet fish. What exactly does sustainable fishing practice mean? Does it mean that we sustain the fish by throwing worms and fish directly into the ocean? Or does it mean that we treat our fishermen and women to be fitter in order to sustain their fishing shifts for longer periods? Could it even mean that when our fishermen and women go fishing, they're only practicing with rods and have nothing attached to them? Actually, it doesn't mean any of those things. Sustainable fishing practice means that we practice our fishing in a sustainable way. Okay. That's readable is cool. Okay, but what's a sustainable way? That's like the most important part. Comedy game about power washing. Aww. Little octopus heart. Fluffy little cat. Cat has entered stream. Cat has left stream. So many sparkles. Looks like this is there's no entrance through there. Aha! Oh boy. Get you nice and clean down, Mr. Giant Clean. Unfortunately, Phil went bust in 1924 and 27, and custodianship of the Marine Life Center was transferred to local entrepreneur Wilberforce Thrust. It appears from looking through historical financial transactions that Thrust's primary interest was in making a quick buck from selling the center's prize exhibits. Oop, my music stopped. Public interest disappeared along with the turtles, and the center quickly went into decline. No, not the turtles. Oh, I forget I have an extender. Duh. I just thought of a really stupid joke. What do you call an aquarium that has fish of all genders and sexualities? An aquarium. Haha.